6 and 6:15. But something tells me.
Everybody's mic on?
Which Carm?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Troy City Council, the Finance Committee meeting on July 2nd, 6 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Keel.
Present.
Councilman Brosnan.
Here.
Councilman McLaren.
Present.
Councilman Vera.
Present.
Councilmember Soriento.
Here.
Councilmember Casey.
Here.
And Council President Steele is here. All present and accounted for. Our agenda this evening is brief. And it now consists of 2 resolutions. We will open the public forum at this time. Anyone who wishes to speak on either resolution, this is your opportunity to come forward.
Good evening. My name is Mark DeVitt. I am a resident of the city of Troy. I'm just slightly concerned that we have a special city council meeting and finance meeting in lieu of the disastrous fiscal report 2 weeks ago. I think that these topics should be adjourned until we have had the full fiscal report from Dylan or whoever the city comptroller is at that time. And we should postpone these votes until that time that we know where our fiscal health is in Q1. If you consider yourself a fiscally responsible individual, that's the kind of motion that you would want to see happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Does anyone else wish to address the council, part of the public forum, on either of the 2 resolutions?
Council President.
Seeing none. Councilmember Soriento.
I believe Mayor Mantello would like to
Yes,
speak.
I was just going to acknowledge her finishing the public forum. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, City Council members. Couple quick things. Following the events that transpired at the last City Council meeting, our City Comptroller has resigned, and we've begun searching for a new comptroller. We continue to have routine meetings with our outside counsels, financial advisors, and can confidently state that the city is standing on fiscally solid ground. I want to be clear on a couple things. The city does not have any financial issues. Our former comptroller had been updating our accounting system, which includes translating historical data into a database. We cannot have a safer and cleaner Troy, which obviously we hit the ground running in January on the first day for safer and cleaner Troy. We cannot have that without being on sound financial footing and a fiscally sustainable city. My administration remains committed to organized bookkeeping and smart financial choices. On a very last note, to bring it back home, listen, we're in a tough business here. We all know sometimes it can get political. Sometimes it can get, and all of us are very passionate about what we do. Let's just all keep in mind We deal with people every day. We work with people every day. We need all of us to have a level of respect. So saying that, we have challenges, obstacles, we have great accomplishments, great achievements. We do that together, but we also do it with respect. So just on that note, we need to keep that in mind. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Could you just answer for us when he submitted his resignation and when it was effective?
Submitted last Tuesday, effective 2 weeks from last Tuesday, next Tuesday. So if you know of anyone, we are obviously searching for new comptroller. The good news, we have gotten some leads, municipal background, and obviously for us, you know, a person that obviously can not just deal with the numbers, but, you know, the unfortunate, there are politics from time to time, et cetera, but just, you know, a comptroller that, you know, we, you know, would obviously be able to work with. So keep your ears out. We do have a couple of good leads. The good news, like I said, we have gotten phone calls already from a couple folks who know a couple of retired folks, et cetera. But, you know, if you do hear of any, please give us a call. And, you know, the prior comptroller, he came through City Hall. He actually applied for that position after the prior comptroller resigned. So he applied for the job through the city's website, et cetera. But if you hear of anyone, please let us know. Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I ask?
Mayor, we have one more question.
Just, sorry. So can someone from Nexus give us an idea, like a quarterly, because now we're at the end of Q2, and assuming that someone new coming on board, even if they're on board by then, won't be in a position to give a report yet. Is that something that they would be able to do in the meantime?
Yeah, I mean, if it definitely, you know, the line by line, you know, ProNexus, you know, their idea actually was to not use the prior comptroller's report, because remember, the challenge here is the prior comptroller used a report that did not use the accounting system that we have. Saying that by not using that accounting system, it's made it extremely difficult to track those accounts, close out requisitions, which ProNexus, if you recall, reported that a month ago. So can ProNexus give an overview? Absolutely. Will they be able to deep dive much like the prior comptroller? It would probably be challenging, but overall, absolutely, you know, the first quarter. And remember, the prior comptroller, his report did include the permanent salaries, which are down, the overtime, which is substantially down, and other items. Do I think he knew the answers to a number of questions? Yes, but not to, you know, go backwards. We're moving forwards. I think he froze, but saying that, you know, the council, you have the numbers. We're going to verify those with ProNexus, ensure that those numbers are, you know, obviously, but they are. And, you know, I'm sure that the person that has been working with the prior comptroller would come in much like he did, you know, a month ago or 5 weeks ago, and, you know, update the council. You know, so, and don't forget, if you have questions in the interim, you know, much like, you know, council member, you were here today, we're available. And if you have questions, you know, we'd be happy to answer those if we have the answer.
So then do I understand that we will have
I'm
some,
not going to commit to a time. I will go back and talk.
So
to
we-
Joan.
okay,
I will talk. to
okay,
Joan.
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's important that the council have as much up-to-date financial information as possible, and I don't wish to rehash the past. I certainly wish Mr. Spring the best. We know the controller job is a very stressful one, and I hope he finds peace.
He's moving on.
Good,
So,
good,
okay.
very good.
Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You may want to come back up because we're moving right on to resolutions. Resolution 110, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into agreement, an amendment to the performance contracting agreement with Siemens Industry, Inc. for refurbishment of the Knickerbocker Ice Skating Arena. Councilmember Casey at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Soriento, second.
Motion.
Councilmember Keel. Discussion on the resolution.
Council President,
Councilmember Brosnan.
I have a few questions about the contract coming up. If
Is there someone from the administration willing to answer? Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
hey, thank you. So I had a couple questions with the contract coming up with Siemens. I was wondering if we are locked into the lighting selection they chose, if that's across the board set. I know that some of them were adjustable for the Kelvin and the color. I know those are usually more costly. I was wondering if we could just use one that is just set to 4,000 Kelvin.
I mean, this is, we kind of lean on the experts in this, with the energy efficiency savings that Siemens suggested on this for the lighting. At this time, I believe that this, part of the contract would be that would be part of this, the lighting that's in here, this contract.
Okay, so it's dead set if we say yes to this, it's gonna be those lights.
Yeah, I would say I don't believe we'll be able to change those factors after you go ahead and accept and approve this.
Okay.
This amendment.
The other question I had is the subcontractors doing the work, is that gonna be city selected or is that gonna be selected by Siemens?
Selected by Siemens.
Are they gonna follow the rules of Troy this
They
time
are.
around?
Prevail, yep, they are.
All right, neat. I had another question and I got it, so let me
Let me
check
know.
my notes and I'll get back to
We
you.
can circle back
Okay.
to that. Are there others? Other questions?
Council President.
Councilmember McLaren.
So what jumped out at me the most is that knowing that the county is giving us 2 million and this contract is for 556. Where is that extra 500,000
Coming from?
Yeah.
So that's gonna be coming out of unexpended ARPA funds.
Okay. Now, the other question I had was that with each section of, the scope of work and services, there were some exclusions. So something like, assuming the electrical is all okay and assuming that the subfloor is okay. Have they given any idea how likely it is that there's going to be asbestos and lead and that might have to be abated at the cost of the city?
So, before getting to this construction contract, there has been, I can't even count how many inspections over
Okay.
at the NIC, between city staff, Siemens, county staff, their engineering firms that they use, CHA, and all their other subcontractors. So, that is definitely one of the positives here entering this agreement is that once we enter into this amendment to the existing EPC, this is what we're getting. There's no after fact here. So there has been a really thorough, that's why they do that, because, they're going to guarantee what's in here. There's no change orders down the road, et cetera. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Could you explain to us the urgency for this, please?
Yes, so as you know, and as I want to say, we unanimously passed the agreement with Rensselaer County to receive, to get this work done and to receive the $2 million. The county was adamant that, to get everything on schedule for some of the different equipment that needs to be ordered, that we could not wait to the next meeting. I can assure you, just like yourself, we'd be more than happy to, combine meetings to make them efficient. But at the request of the county, who's giving us $2 million for this project, they wanted this pushed like last week. We couldn't get it before you previously as well, because we had to go through a legal review, of course, of the construction contract. So that's why we decided that's why the majority called this
And
meeting.
a week wouldn't have been sufficient.
That's what, just like I previously said, that's not what we're being told. Again, if you're receiving a $2 million from the county, I think that it's worthy of folks being here for a brief meeting to make sure that we can fulfill the recreation needs at the Knickerbocker.
That's clearly not my point, but
What was your point, Council President? It's unclear.
thank you for answering my question.
More than
Are
happy.
there questions?
Council President.
Councilmember Rosin.
Okay, do you know if the subcontractors have been decided by Siemens at this point? I know if we usually have it picked out.
They do, yes. Exactly who the subcontractors are. It's a group for different projects that they routinely use.
Okay. Thank you.
Council President Steele.
Councilmember Casey.
As far as us having a special meeting, you see the county, they're taking care of business type attitude. They want it done. Sooner this administration wants things done quick. I had a conversation with the people in the county last week. We want this done. We want it done right away. And the way I felt about it is, I wouldn't care if they asked me here on a Sunday night at midnight. If they're giving us $2 million, it is a big thing. I came here tonight. We're going to be here for just a few minutes. And again, I'm just that grateful for us getting this money. The same way Chuck Schumer came and gave us millions. And if you asked me to be here tonight, I would be here also. It's not that big of a deal. I always say I don't care about special meetings. Hopefully they'll calm down. It's a beginning administration. And I certainly don't care usually how long I'm here. I'm happy to do it. And I'm happy we're getting this issue.
Thank you for that, Majority Leader.
I think we're all very happy that we're receiving $2 million. There's no doubt about that. The point is that the public is entitled to sufficient notice, and they did not receive more than just 24 hours.
Sufficient notice was given, just like what's required.
24 hours, in my estimation. Yeah, I would appreciate the chatter to stop when someone is speaking. No one else speaks.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
My point is that 24 hours is the bare minimum notice for the public, and we should endeavor at all costs to give more notice. That is what I'm saying, and I appreciate the opportunity to finish. Councilman Vera?
Yeah, I was wondering if the calculation for the energy savings could be clarified. What are we currently spending right now to maintain this facility or operate this facility?
So because the facility is still in operation, not at the full capacity, of course, that it will be when we get to the Knickerbocker. So these savings are going off of what it costs when it's operational. So I'd only imagine that would then, we've got less efficient since all that time has gone down, since the maintenance on the full facility has been let go.
So is any part of this agreement, does any part of this agreement rely on those energy savings being realized?
Not,
in other words,
I guess there's your question if we don't.
Correct.
If
What
it
happens
doesn't
if you do
hit
not
what's
achieve?
listed.
Because if I'm looking at Exhibit C here, it says that what we did, because the facility hasn't been operating as an ice rink for quite some time, we went back to 2008, 2009, and grabbed the electrical usage from those years, and we made some assumptions as if the equipment which doesn't function was functioning. And then we suggest that we're going to save $3.7 million over 20 years. So those aren't actual funds we would save because there's no way for us to spend that money on the facility currently, correct?
Well, I think the comparison with the, again, like you already noted, that was going back when it was operational. So at the end of the day here, you're still going to be seeing savings that now we have a facility that's fully functioning and that's energy efficient.
What do we estimate the operational cost to be once the facility is up and running?
Those, I can get that exact number to you. I don't have that.
And then I see a table, looks like annual payments. Could you describe what those annual payments are for?
Yep, so those annual payments, that's part of this EPC, the EPC, similar to like our LED lighting and some other projects that the city took on, DPW, garage, things like that. So these payments, this is how these contracts work. These annual minimal payments are made and the utility savings is provided. That's part of the contract.
So who are the payments? Who are the payments made to?
So the payments will be made from the city to Siemens annually. I think that you'd agree that I understand that it's tough to do a straight comparison from a building that's not as operational as we'd like it to be. That being said, I'm sure you can acknowledge that there's still going to be cost savings from using upgraded lighting compared to what's in there now. Outside of the fact, again, that we're getting $2 million from the county to get this long dormant building back active for the use of our youth.
Yeah, I suppose my question is more, is it okay if that's a theoretical savings or does it actually have to be an actual savings for an EPC?
It's what they worked up here is acceptable.
And those annual payments are not included in the 2.6 million.
They are not.
That's additional. Does the city plan to set any additional funds aside for change orders on the project? Echoing some of the other comments, the list of exclusions here cover quite a wide variety of situations that most certainly will be encountered. Do we have any additional funding?
With these amendments to the contract, there's no change orders. That goes back into what I was saying earlier, in that's why they do such a thorough preliminary to make sure that we know what we're working with when it comes. Will things possibly arise down the road? It's still the city's building that we have to maintain. But when it comes to the scope of this project, I don't see any change orders.
Correct. I can certainly understand that given the list of exclusions in terms of Siemens contract. But in terms of the project overall, while it wouldn't necessarily be considered a change order to this contract because Siemens has excluded it, certainly we could see the possibility to need to do some of the work that they've excluded from this contract.
So, I mean, I guess that would be exactly what I just said. A change order would be referring to the contract. So if your question's not about the contract, I'm acknowledging that is there some stuff that's unforeseeable that the city will have to fix down the road? Yeah, it's a building that we maintain. We're going to try to upkeep it so it doesn't go back to the same slide to the same disrepair that it's in now.
Yeah, I'm not referring to long-term maintenance. I'm referring to the construction, right? If I look at these exclusions, some of these exclusions, no environmental remediation is included. That's that one sentence, which would, eliminate a change order for Siemens because they've excluded the work. There's no price tag associated with that. And if we did have to do that type of remediation, we would need additional funding to complete the project. Correct.
But going back to that kind of the council member, Spain McLaren's question about, say, for example, asbestos, part of that review is to make sure that there's not certain conditions so that they don't run into them. If they run into those certain environmental factors, that's going to halt the project, which is not going to fulfill their contract. So,
well, in my experience, the city usually has to pick up the price tag on that in order to make sure that the project can move forward. So is there any additional
There's
monies being set aside at this
the
time.
price of this construction contract is the price that is allocated for this.
Okay, thank you.
Just one last question, Council President.
Sir, Councilmember Casey.
Deputy Mayor, just approximate start date, approximate finish date?
So they're going to be starting, and again, they basically have been out there so many times doing site inspections, but they're going to be starting work pretty much immediately. We're looking for this to be fully open in the fall, so we're shooting October. And that's again why from what I'm told and where the push comes from is, every day, every week really counts to trying to get these products ordered. So what's needed to get everything open. So again, that's why we're here.
Council President,
Councilmember Brosnan.
did Siemens do all of the inspection or did city engineers come down too?
So it was a mixture of the county engineer, city staff, our Joe Mazzarello, our general services commissioner, engineering teams from Siemens as well. So yeah, it was really all three entities, making sure we were on the same page.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions from council members? Thank you. Hearing none, I will move to a roll call. Councilmember Keel,
Yes.
Councilmember Brosnan.
Aye.
Councilmember McLaren.
So as much as I look forward to this project and as appreciative as I am of, the county recognizing Troy's need for this, because of kind of what I was questioning about the unforeseen expenses. And I know, Deputy Mayor, you cited that the thoroughness of Seaman will hopefully make sure that there aren't any unforeseen circumstances, but it makes me nervous. So for those reasons, I'm going to say no.
Councilman Vera.
I love the idea that the county is going to give us $2 million for this project. Even at 2.6 million, it seems like maybe not the best use of ARPA funds, but I can understand wanting to supplement such a large windfall with some ARPA funds. Without a plan for overages, some sort of contingency involved, I have to vote.
Councilmember Soriento. Aye. Councilmember Casey.
Yes.
I echo the concerns that have been expressed. I don't think we have a realistic picture of what this is going to really cost us. A building that age, I'm sure, is going to come back with asbestos. Not to mention, there are always unforeseen expenses, and I think if we look at Siemens' track record with city projects, that speaks for itself. So I must vote. Four to three. The resolution is adopted. Resolution 112. Resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with landscape structure. Excuse me?
No, we withdrew that.
I apologize.
112, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Landscape Structures, Inc. for the purchase of new playground equipment under the Sourcewell Consortium contract number 010521 LSI. Councilmember Casey at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan, second. Councilmember Soriento. Discussion on the resolution.
Council President,
Councilmember Vera.
is there a list of equipment that we're purchasing?
Are you looking for the specifics on the playground?
I mean, not necessarily make and model, but yeah, I guess what I'm questioning is the contracts for $70,000. And if I'm not mistaken, the plan that went out to bid for Prospect Park, I thought it looked to me like it included more than $70,000 worth of playground equipment. So I was just curious what we're purchasing with this contract, and do we still have to purchase additional equipment?
So this is specifically about for the playground equipment. That's what the rest of the project encompasses. The surfacing for the playground, et cetera. Then there's also the tennis courts and all of that part, but the 70,000 is specifically for the play.
So this includes the play area that's, I think, for 2 to 5 year olds, 5 to 12 year olds, the splash pad equipment. This includes all the playground equipment for the Prospect
So
Park.
that's so in here, with the way that it's listed, because of a Sourcewell, it lists these types of items as playground and splash pad and accessories. There's not it's all just playground. There's no splash pad. It's just the playground.
So this is for the 2 new pieces of playground equipment that were on the plans that went out today.
Correct.
So I don't have any further questions.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted unanimously. I would entertain a motion at this point to adjourn.
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan,
Second.
seconded by Councilmember Vera. We will go right into the special meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Keel?
Here.
Councilmember Brosnan?
Here.
Councilmember Spain McLaren?
Present.
Councilmember Vera?
Present.
Councilmember Soriento?
Here.
Councilmember Casey? Council President Steele?
Present.
All are present.
We have 2 items on the agenda, which may be familiar to you. Does anyone wish to address the council on either of those 2 items? Seeing none, we will move right into Resolution 110.
Resolution 110, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an amendment to the performance contracting agreement with Siemens Industry Incorporated for reimbursement of the Knickerbocker Ice Skating Arena. Councilmember Casey at the request of the administration.
We have a motion.
Motion.
Councilmember President. Second.
Second.
Councilmember Keel. Discussion. I think we've discussed this. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
No.
Nay.
4 ayes, 3 noes, resolution 110 passes.
Resolution 112.
Was resolution 112, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Landscape Structures Incorporated for the purchase of new playground equipment under the Sourcewell Consortium contract number 010521-LSI. Councilmember Casey at the request of the administration.
We have a motion.
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan, second.
Second.
Councilman Vera. Discussion on the resolution? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 112 passes.
Does anyone wish to address the council on any item not on the agenda? Seeing none, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Brosnan, seconded by McLaren. All in favor?
Aye.